Oh, chubbicorn.
Alright, in light of Free Comic Book Day, which is today, I'm going to be drawing 3 Spider-Man poses. And I'm going to be drawing them at normal speed with pauses, so you can follow along a lot easier. This is based on a survey that I sent out, and about 11 of you responded, so thank you for doing that. So we're starting off with a head and a torso, and this particular pose is Spider-Man crouching on a light post. So you can see the arms are going to be converging from the shoulders to the middle point down below the torso. And then I'm going to draw the legs up. So they're bent. It's like a crouching, squatting pose. And then I'm going to draw the shin. So we have a thigh on the top, a shin on the bottom. And I'll do the same for the other side. I'm just kind of rounding off the top of the leg with a knee and then the shin going down. So all of the limbs are converging on the single top of the post, and then we have the direction of the face, which is a 3/4 view turn. I'll draw that little notch for the cheek bone. And then I'll go ahead and flesh out the arms. So by the way, this is going to be like my version of Spider-Man. So this is, as you can see, the proportions are not accurate to the human or comic style. I would say this is closer to, like, if you know Scotty Young, he made like childlike versions of the Marvel characters. I forget the name of the series. Somebody can put it in the comments. All right, so we have the hands that are going to be kind of folding over the top of the light post, and then there's a foot there, and then another foot there. And then I will just kind of draw where the shin or the lower leg separates out from the thigh. I'll do that on the other one as well. Just a line that curves that represents the calf. All right, and then I'll clean up some of these lines that are obscuring our arms. So all those lines behind the arms. All right, now for the eyes. So I'm going to draw a slight curve on the top and then a bigger curve on the bottom. So there's like a diagonal slight curve for the top of the eye. Think of it kind of like an almond shape, but with a rounder bit, like bottom part and a flatter top part. And then now for the top of the light post. So let's draw a sphere, just kind of echoing the sphere of Spider-Man's head. And then a little cubic base with just the pole below it. And then I'll add some fingers. I'm going to go with the 3 fingers and a thumb style, just to give it more of a cartoony look. Just for this particular one. Plus, I think I drew the hands kind of small, so I would be out of space for any more than 3 fingers. Okay, the next pose is going to be another pose that I like of Spider-Man, and this is where. So we'll start with a circle. Let's just do step by step. So torso is going diagonal and curving. So it's kind of a reclining pose, but it's anything but reclining. It's a very active, exciting pose. And then I'm going to just solidify that sphere a little bit. And this next step is actually going to be a square that represents the palm of Spider-Man's hand. So that square is going to have fingers kind of sprouting out of it. This little curve here is the forearm. It's very foreshortened. And then it'll go up there to the shoulder. So the upper arm is bent, or the arm is bent. And then the far away arm, like the distant arm, his left arm, is coming out from what looks like behind his head, but it's actually in the distance. So the shoulder is up on the backside. And so we just see the forearm really. So it's kind of like a foreshortened distant arm. All right, now for the hand, I'm going to separate that palm into 2 little overlapping lines and then wrap it into a thumb. Then I will add the pinky jutting out downward and the index finger. And then I'm going to draw 2 bumps. So for this particular pose, I'm going to have all 4 fingers. I just think it looks weird when there are 3 fingers and a thumb and one is down in the middle. In this case, we can give him human proportioned fingers, or human, I guess the human number of fingers. All right, and there we go. So let's draw the legs now. So we'll have one knee up, coming out from the hip. I'm sorry if I sound tired in this video. It was a very busy Friday. I had to clean a very messy class full of ceramics. My 7th grade students are making ceramic mugs, and it took a lot out of me. So yeah, I'm wiped out. And then I went to watch my son play baseball. He pitched today, so I had to go and watch that. It was fun. So I am exhausted. All right, so the legs. You can see how I drew those feet. There's no ankles in this cartoony style. It's just flared out feet straight from the calf. All right, now this pose, or this particular head angle, is a little bit down, but mostly facing us. And then here's the eye pattern. So we have a diagonal with a little bit of a curve going down toward the middle, and then a very round bottom part there. So think of it like an orange slice with a little bit of a round edge where it should be flat. I make the eyes like more rounded than Spider-Man's actual eyes, just to give it more of a cartoony look. And then for the web shooting out towards us, I don't know what artist did this. I've got to look it up, but there's an artist that I'm doing right here with the web, where it has these little mini fibers wrapping around it as it sprays out. I can't remember which artist came up with that idea, but I love it, and I'm just using it for this particular pose. So it's like one single strand of web, but it's coming straight or close to us. And then in the distance, we have the other fist gripping onto a section of web as he just kind of floats or swings through the air. And so I'm having him grab, just like cinching 2 pieces together, or just holding one piece of web together. I don't know, just kind of going with it. All right, this next one is going to be swinging, kind of grabbing down on the web, like propelling forward. And so we're going to draw the sphere for the head and the direction of the face. And then I'm going to draw the direction of the torso. So I'm going to do this flow, curved line to the lower left. And then I'll build the torso on top of that gesture line. And then we'll draw a little notch for the eye socket and cheekbone. So it's like a 3/4 view. Slightly downturned eye line there. Actually, I drew the eye line lower just to accommodate for the large eye shapes that I'll draw later. And then one leg is going out, kind of following along with that gesture line, parallel to it. And then there will be a foreshortened lower leg down there, we'll draw later. And then the other leg is coming up and more of a side view, or actually coming towards us slightly, I think. And then the foot goes down below that, so it's bent pretty dramatically to the side. All right, now the other leg I said before is foreshortened, so we'll just see a little bit of the lower leg, mostly the foot. And right now this pose looks really awkward. It looks like when you have the feet coming together and the knees far apart, it looks really strange. But I think this arm, this dynamic arm position, balances it out, I think. I don't know. But I do like this pose. I think this is from the Spider-Man game. What game? It's like PS4, PS5. I forget what year it came out, but I've been playing it. I'm working through it. It's taking me a long time. I chip away at various RPGs, and that's one of them. All right, so we have another hand back. So it's foreshortened, and the shoulder and the upper arm is behind the head somehow. And then we have large eyes. I'm just drawing the base of the eyes kind of along that line I drew for the eyes there. And large eye there. So again, really deep curve on the bottom and less of a curve on the top. And then we'll draw, I'm gonna clean up some lines first here. I'm gonna separate out, like just connect that upper leg. And I'm not drawing any of the patterns of his suit, just, I figure it's a base pose. I'm just, I don't wanna take up any more time than needed, but I guess I could do a detailed one, maybe, I don't know. If you ask nicely, maybe I'll do a more specific detailed superhero or Spider-Man drawing. All right, Knuckles and Fist, he's grabbing onto a strand of web right here. But first I just have to clean that up to make sure the arm is in front of the leg. And then I'm gonna expand out that fist just to accommodate one more knuckle for a finger. And then there's a piece of web that he's grabbing onto. So this is like when he's propelling forward, he kind of pulls down on the web to just bring himself a little bit faster, I guess, or just to create tension in the web. I probably could have had the other hand open, and now that I think about it. Okay, and speaking of that pose, I look at it and I'm thinking, I'm gonna redraw it. I'm gonna draw it a little more dynamic. Watch the difference here, where I draw that exact same pose that I just drew, but with a more dynamic angle and gesture line, and even more foreshortened torso. And you'll see how it looks a little more exciting and a little more action-packed. So we have the leg coming out a little more this time, like he's flying forward more. And then we draw the thigh. This is gonna be a bit faster because I find I've drawn so many of these poses that I'm more comfortable at a faster speed. So I apologize if you're drawing along with this. Maybe just mute it and like slow it down so you don't have to hear my voice in slow motion. This looks kind of like a frog, I think now, but then that arm helps out. I'm gonna explain what's going on. And then pretty much same thing for the other arm, behind the head and foreshortened, going back. But you can see that diagonal, like, and then I have the head looking up too. So this way it shows like he's swinging, tightening the web, and then, you know, aiming for some location that's kind of above him. I think that's a little more interesting than the first one, and you'll see when I back out here. So I'm just drawing those eyes again, solidifying the head, and just cleaning up my lines. It's a good thing to do when you feel pretty confident about a pose, is to go back and just make your lines a little bit more clean and darker. And then a little more detail for the fist, and then of course there's the web. A little bit of cleanup. I think I need to make that eye a little bit different there. A little more accurate or symmetrical. Okay, and I think nearing the end of this pose here, I'm just gonna draw, yeah, that little arrow just kind of shows the dynamic. So look at the difference between that lean forward and upward. I think the lower one's better. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.